Welcome to BizEd Made Simple. We're looking at 4.6.1, the main factors which influence location decisions. We're going to be covering everything that is on my screen. Let's get into the definitions first of all. What's location all about? Well, location is about where you set up your operations. Now, your operations could be a factory, could be a shop, could be a restaurant, but it's a really big decision because it has a large effect on the success of the business. What do we mean by relocation? Well, some businesses have a factory in a certain place, but then they realize it's not working out and they have to move it somewhere else. So that would be called relocation. Now, this question, this syllabus point is really common, and they often put it in the one where you have to make a decision. They love to have it as a case study and say, should they set up the factory here or here? Which one do you think is best, and justify? In order to do that, then, to get an opinion on it, silly stories are an absolute must so you can fully understand it. So I'm going to have Raj in my silly story. Raj is an expert in location, and he goes to a job interview and he has to have a pitch on saying why it's so important. A common GCSE question, as it were, IGCSE question. He said, why is location so important? He said, well, first let's deal with when it can go wrong. If you choose the wrong location, you're going to have all of these problems. I'm not going to read them all out, but you can see there, you're going to have high rent, you're going to have poor accessibility, so your customers can't get there, or your raw materials. You're going to have low sales. Essentially, your profitability will go down. He said, but if you get location right, it's an absolute win. Look at all of these bullet points. Your customers are going to be more satisfied. Your staff are going to be retained. They're going to stay longer and you won't have such a high staff turnover. You can have a good brand image. Essentially, your costs go lower and your profitability goes up. The board of directors are happy with his pitch and they say, okay, we'll give you a job because we've got a challenge for you. Now, the business, what do they run? Well, they are car manufacturers, which happily ties in with the syllabus point you need to know. Factors which influence the location decisions of a manufacturing business. A manufacturing business would be a car factory. Now, think about a car factory, manufacturing. This is what they look at like inside. They're probably a conveyor belt system. They're probably huge. They may have a lot of workers, or they may be fairly automated with lots of robots. But from the outside, they're going to be pretty ugly. They're probably going to pollute, and they're going to need vast amounts of space. Raj has to think about all of this. They say, now Raj, come up with a list and tell us what are all the things, the factors we need to consider when deciding where to put our car manufacturer, our car factory. Raj says, no problem. But Taj is a bit lazy, and Taj decides, I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and he gets ChatGPT to come up with a list, and he puts them in rank order. And this is what it creates. Have a look at my screen. So Raj says, look, when we're deciding location, we obviously want everything. We want it to be beautiful and large and cheap, but we can't have everything. The world isn't like that. So we have to put things in rank order. Some things are an absolute must, and other things, they're desirable, but we can get away without having them. And that's what he's done here, or ChatGPT has done here. It's put it in rank order. Now, whenever we put it in rank order, there's an opinion to be had. And I want you to look at this as we go through it and say, do you agree with it? Do you really think this one is the most important for the car manufacturing process, the plant? Or perhaps one down here is more important. Let's have a look what ChatGPT and he came up with then. He said right at the top is transport and infrastructure. If you're going to have a car factory, you have to have good roads going into it. There's no point being able to build cars if you can't actually get them out of the factory and off to the customers. So he said top, number one, you have to have good road network and maybe ports and planes and airports nearby. He said that's most important. That is non-negotiable. Next, he said, you're going to have a lot of workers and you need access to labor nearby. There's no point putting it in the middle of the Sahara because you're going to need loads of workers and you won't have any workers there. So we need preferably unemployed workers looking to work in your factory, because in the car factory, you may not pay them very much. So access to labor is the next most important thing. They're nodding along, agreeing. Are you? Next, proximity to raw materials. He says you must have raw materials. You're going to use loads of iron and steel, and that's expensive to transport. So it'd be great if you had a mine nearby to you. He said that's number three. They're starting to look a bit cynical there. They said, well, okay, maybe that's difficult. We might run out of that. Couldn't we just bring it in on a boat? Maybe that could go further down the list, they think. But for the moment, he's got it at number 3. The next, reliable utilities. He said that is crucial up there. Imagine the factory's running and you're in a place where there's often power cuts, and suddenly the power cuts, what are you going to do? The whole factory will stand still. That will cost you time and money. It will be a disaster. And they go, yeah, that's true. Actually, I think I'd put that further up the list. That's more important than rank number 1, perhaps. Well, starting to drift opinions here now. Next, cost of land. He says you are going to need a lot of land, and you want room to expand if you're a car factory as you create new models. You really want that land to be cheap. We don't need the land to be beautiful. He says, in fact, beautiful land is less desirable, because if you build this car factory in a nature reserve, one that wouldn't be allowed, that would be illegal because of zoning, we're going to come to that later. But if you build it in a beautiful place where there's people with houses nearby and they look out onto your factory, they're going to start complaining. It's going to damage your brand image. So we'd actually quite like some cheap land. We would call it an area that's brownfield site, muddy or run down, would be desirable because we could get it cheap and no one would complain when we put this ugly looking car factory next to it. So cheap land, he says, at 5. They said, that's a really good point. I'd put that higher as well. He said, oh, starting to get nervous. Government incentives. He said, remember we were talking that we want some like rundown land where it's been left and it's getting a bit derelict and ugly, and maybe we've got unemployed people nearby. We don't mind that, but we're really going to be helping out the government if we regenerate that area. If we put a car factory and give jobs, then we're making that area much nicer. The government should help us out with that. They should therefore give us incentives. They should give us some money, a grant maybe, or just a tax break. Maybe they could say something like, because you're helping out, you're making this rundown area, bringing life to it, you don't have to pay tax for the next 3 years. And they said, well, we love that. Will that happen? Definitely. They said, well, why are you putting it at 6 then? Get that higher up. And they said, he's starting to feel nervous. Legal controls. He said, you need to think about these. Remember we said before about you don't want to put it in an area of outstanding natural beauty. And they said, yeah, we'll check that. We can't just pick a site on the map and then later discover that you're next to a nature reserve. You need to look at the zoning laws, the pollution laws. You might be in a place where if you emit too much CO2, the government fines you a massive amount. So look at that carefully, because we are going to release a lot of CO2 as a car factory. Then he said, least important, access to market. And they said, do we need that at all? He said, well, not really, to be fair. We build the cars. We don't need the customers of cars nearby. It would be nice, but we don't mind transporting the cars. But if you were doing something perishable, something that goes off, like if we were making fish, or not making them, but turning it into a fish pie in the secondary sector, that would be perishable and would probably be more important that we're next to the customers. But for us, that's why I put it at number 8. He said, there's my list. They said, well, is it your list or is it ChatGPT's? They think about this, they say they are good factors, but they're not happy about his order. And guess what? Taj in my story is let go. Have a think, pause. Which factor do you think he had in the worst place? Which would you change? They let him go in my story. But no problem. He gets another job. This time he gets a job for a chain of multinational, international gyms, loads and loads of gyms around the place. And it's got a board of directors. And he said, look, we're looking to open a new gym. What are the factors that we should consider? What will influence where we put the gym? Just like we did for the car factory. But now we're looking at a gym, which of course is a service business in the tertiary sector. Could be a restaurant. I've chosen a gym. Raj says, this is brilliant. Yeah, I'm doing this. I've done this before. This is the normal talk I give. So he goes back to his ChatGPT notes, the ones he's already got, and he puts the same thing up. Have a little look at this. And they say, okay, then Raj, tell us, what's the most important thing about our gym? And he said, well, the most important thing is that you've got infrastructure so you can get your raw materials in. They look at him and they go, raw materials? What are you talking about? We don't have raw materials. We put the gym equipment in and that's pretty much it. We deliver a few drinks. And he said, well, you need access to labor because you're going to have thousands of workers. They go, thousands of workers? We're only going to have about 20. They look at this, they go, Raj, this is terrible. This is not a suitable list at all, looking down it. Absolutely wrong. Go away and do your job. properly. He goes away. That's completely the wrong list. That was suitable for manufacturing, but no good for a gym. He creates a new list. He comes back, he said, sorry about that, I got it wrong. The most important thing you now need to think about is proximity to customers. People who are going to the gym are not going to spend 2 hours to commute to your gym. It needs to have customers nearby, preferably walking distance, because people usually want to go every day and don't want to drive there. So proximity to customers is key in the success of your gym. They go, yeah, we like it, that sounds better. Accessibility and transport. The next says, not everyone is going to be able to walk there, but we need lots of people coming regularly. So we've got to have good parking facilities. We've got to have buses that can take you there. They said, yep, we agree with that. We want demographics of the area. We want the local population to fit the style of the gym. Is this a gym aimed at old people, let's say? Well, we ideally then want lots of older people living nearby to the gym. There's no point putting it in, if you're going to style it on old people, loads of young people living nearby. So we have to think about the demographics of the area to fit the gym. The rent cost and premises. Okay, well, he says this one. He says, yeah, we want it to be cheap. They go, what, do we? Do we want it to be cheap? Which is more important, cheap or close to the customer? He said, well, actually, that's why I put it at number 4. Obviously, you'd like it to be cheap, but you probably need to forego that. It's way more important that you've got customers nearby. You get cheap land building a gym, again, in the middle of the Sahara, but it'd be no good because no one would go there. Actually, if we put the gym in the center of the city, it would cost us a lot, but it would probably be worth it because you get so many customers walking and joining and all of those things. He says, so that's really low. They say, well, why'd you put it at number 4? I'd put it even lower. Okay, possibly cost of premises should go even lower. Labour supply, well, not that important. We don't have many. And the ones we do have probably wouldn't mind driving 20 or 30 minutes to work because there'd be normal workplace conditions. Next, competition. He said, this is a tricky one, something to think about. Maybe you want to think, I want to put it in a place where there are no other gyms. Okay, that sounds sensible. They say, yeah, that'd be good if there were no. He said, but there is an alternative. Some businesses like to put it where there are loads of other competitors. For the gym, you decide, but in a restaurant, perhaps, you often see that restaurants are next door to restaurants, so people can walk down the street with footfall and they can have a choice. So you should consider competition, but I don't know what you want. Maybe you want it far away for competition, or maybe you want it clustered near the competition. Well, they're pretty happy with that list, but that's not to say you should be. Again, you've got to make a decision. What do you think is the most important factor to consider when looking at that gym? The answer is, if this was a question in an IGCSE, well, we'd need to know a little bit more about the business, and you'd have to read the case study. We've just said gym. At what age is it aimed at? How much money have they got? How many people do they expect to go there? We would be looking at the case study to answer those questions with a bit more passion. Finally, though, Raj's job is nearly done, but they say one other thing before you go. Okay, we can decide those roughly within the country, but what factors should we consider when deciding which specific country to operate in? Should we operate in India or should we operate in Norway? And he said, well, this is a bit repetitive, but okay, I'll create you a list. First one, top of the list, he says, usually we want to think about political stability. You do not want to be setting up your operations in a place that is war-torn or that the government could come and take it off you after you've spent all of that money after 2 days. So up there, number 1, he says, consider political stability. Second, labour costs. We would love to get cheap labour if we can do that. So some countries, labour, you can get away with lower minimum wage than with others. So consider that. All depends on your ethics and your type of business, but it's something to consider. Your infrastructure, again, what's the infrastructure generally like in the country? Has it got big motorways and railways, high-speed rails, or is it dirt tracks, which would be very difficult to get around? Market potential you should consider, particularly with a service. Is it growing? Is the country getting richer with people getting more and more money and therefore more likely to go into your business, whatever it may be? Or is it a country where it's going through tough times and spending less? You would have to consider about the market. Is there an appetite for whatever you're selling? Government laws and incentives, like we said earlier, Is the government going to like you being there? Are they going to give you tax breaks for being there? You should consider that when deciding your countries. Legal controls. Are they going to be fining you every moment because of your CO2 being released? Or are they going to go, it's all right, you can get away with dumping paint in the river? Might not help your brand image, but they will be considering those sorts of costs. Exchange rates. Are you going to be changing currencies if you go to the other country? That's a really key factor they'd need to consider, and we cover it in Unit 6. Have a look at the Unit 6 video to understand how exchange rates would influence it. And then culture and language. It's much easier to set up your operations in a country where the people speak the same language as you. If not, you're going to have communication barriers and translation issues, which will cost you to solve. That's it for location. Lots of talking in that one. Any questions, as ever, write them in the comments, and don't forget to like and share.